Thank you very much. What may be helpful at the outset of the program is to tell you a little bit about me, about the work I do, and then we can go into the program. I'm Kenny Moore. I'm married. I have 2 boys under the age of 12, so my mental health is not all that it once was. I've been with my company for 21 years. I'm primarily responsible for awakening joy, meaning, and commitment in the workplace. To date, I've been a miserable failure in that effort, but I remain eternally optimistic about its future viability. I am proud to say that through some of my efforts, employee morale at my company is at its all-time high of 2%. I'm optimistic we can get that to 2.5% by the end of the millennium. The tight economy is holding us back from moving more aggressively. As you know from the film, prior to coming to corporate America, I spent 15 years in a monastic community as a Catholic priest. So in a business setting, I'm usually called in when divine intercession is required, which is actually growing. When I was in the monastery, 20% of my superiors thought they were infallible. Now that I'm in business, the number is up to 80. They once asked Pope John XXIII how many people worked at the Vatican. He said about half of them. So there may be some common operating principles in effect whenever you're working for large hierarchical institutions, sacred or secular. As a former man of the cloth, I want to thank you for not sitting in the front pews and for standing in the back. It makes me feel oddly welcomed and at home. Several years ago, I had the good fortune of being diagnosed with incurable cancer at its most advanced stages. This is the same cancer that killed Jackie Onassis, Paul Tsongas, Richard Harris, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I spent a year down at the National Cancer Institute outside of Washington, D.C., undergoing experimental treatment of aggressive chemotherapy followed by full-body radiation. I did that for a year. I survived. Thank you. I came away from that experience recalling the words of Oliver Wendell Holmes, who said, "Most of us go to our graves with our music still inside us." I'm trying to not let that happen to me. I am honored to be here this afternoon to join my music to yours. Almost 4 years ago to this date, I woke up for a business trip to Boston and had a heart attack. I was invited to be sawed in half and given a quadruple bypass, a subtle reminder that my time is running short. When I came out of that operation, I lay on my hospital bed, hovering on the brink of death. My beloved wife came into the room, came over to my bed and gently whispered in my ear, "If you die and leave me to raise these 2 small boys alone, I'll kill you." "15 years in the monastery had not adequately prepared me for such a show of marital love and affection. The monastery taught me not to fear death. Marriage has changed all that. You understand it's not a good sign that you're clapping at that. For many years in my company, I worked on administering the employee survey. I tallied results. I continued to track trends across corporate America. There are 3 results that come out of all employee surveys, regardless of industry. First, nobody trusts. Second, employees don't believe senior management. Third, workers are too stressed out to care. Problems with trust, belief, caring. When I was in the monastery, we referred to this self-same dynamic as a crisis of faith, hope, and charity. It's my belief that corporate America has a spiritual problem as well as a financial one. So maybe it's not all that odd that this monk masquerading as a businessman is here to talk with you today. The way the program will work is I will speak, you will fall asleep. I will wake you up when it's over. You will ask intelligent questions. I'll make believe I have answers. Hopefully we could all collude so that nobody gets embarrassed. I ask at this time if you could take out your cell phones and pagers and place them in the on position. Any distractions would be greatly welcomed for the next hour. In another minute, I'm going to talk with you about a business model that underlies the work I do. Before I go there, though, I'll share with you an experience I had when I was a newly ordained priest. One of my first assignments was to say Mass for a group of kindergarten students. I had just received my master's degree in theology, of which I only understood 50% of it. I had no idea what I was going to say to 6-year-olds. So I called the nun and I said, "Good sister, what should I say?" She said, "Father, you can actually say anything you want, just keep it simple." Well, the day came for Mass, and about 60 of them came in, accompanied by the nuns. They were very well behaved. They sat in their pews. I came out. We did the opening prayer. We read from the Bible, and it came time for the homily. Being young, I thought I would be somewhat creative. I invited the children to leave their pews and come and sit around me at the altar. Recalling the advice of the nun to keep it simple, I said, "Children, the Lord our God is one." At which point a boy raised his hand and said, "When will he be 2?" I stammered. Eventually I said, "December 25th. You can all go back to your pews now, and we'll continue on with the sacred liturgy." Why that experience stays with me is it actually parallels my 21 years in business. I have all these answers, but people keep asking me the wrong questions, and I'm forced to make it up as I go along.